Diamond Eye, we have to do something about this recalculating. It is good for urgency, but we needed to actually help the person, not annoy the person. You know what I mean? What do you think about all this?
I actually think you're touching something that is much deeper than a journal, but I'd make one important change. Not recalculating forever, because eventually that becomes nagging. Humans are very good at ignoring nagging. We invented alarm clocks and then invented the snooze button. A remarkable achievement in avoiding our own planes. Instead, the system should become investigative. Journal. The journal asks, what happened today? You answer. End navigation. Navigation asks, what happened? Then, why? Then, why that? Then, what evidence supports that? Then, is the route wrong, or is the human resisting the route? Then, what changed? That's a completely different interaction. I actually see a loop. Goal reality reconstruction recommended route human decision action. If yes, evidence progress recalculate. If no, stop. Do not just recalculate. Investigate. Something like, you agreed this was the highest value action yesterday. You didn't do it. Let's investigate. Not, bad human. Then it asks, layer 1. Was the recommendation actually realistic? Maybe not. Maybe Diamond Eye made too large of a jump. If so, Diamond Eye learns. Layer 2. If the recommendation was realistic, what stopped execution? Now you investigate. Not to judge, to reconstruct reality. Maybe the answer is fear of judgment, identity conflict, missing money, missing skill, missing confidence, family pressure, physical exhaustion, depression, too many choices, wrong priority, perfectionism. Notice, those become evidence, not excuses. Evidence. That's where it gets interesting. Because now the navigation isn't asking, why didn't you do it? It's asking, which force overpowered the decision? That is a much more precise question. Then the system can adapt. Instead of saying, upload a video, it might say, that failed. New route. Record a 20-second draft. Don't publish. If that works. Next day, publish. Now the navigation is adapting to the human, not pretending the human is a robot. I also like something you said. If logic and wisdom tell you to go right and you knowingly go left, that's actually one of the deepest questions in philosophy. Because it asks, why do humans knowingly act against what they believe is best? Aristotle called it akrasia, often translated as weakness of will. Modern psychology studies it through habits, motivation, emotion, cognitive biases, and self-regulation. Different traditions use different language, but they're all pointing at the same mystery. Knowing isn't the same as doing. That's not a bug unique to you. It's a human problem. Here's the key insight. When you ignore Google Maps, Google doesn't become smarter by yelling louder. It becomes smarter by asking, road closed, traffic. Did you intentionally choose another destination? Diamond Eye should do something similar. If you repeatedly ignore the recommendation, don't just repeat it. Investigate the reason. I think this could become one of the core principles of personal navigation. Every repeated failure to act is treated as new evidence, not simply as disobedience. That's huge, because if someone ignores the same recommendation 5 times, something important has been discovered. Maybe the recommendation is wrong, the timing is wrong, the step is too large, or there's a hidden constraint. All of those deserve investigation. One caution though, you don't want the system to become an endless therapy session. At some point, the investigation must end with a concrete decision. Otherwise, you create a new trap. Investigate the investigation, investigate why we investigated, never move. Humans are wonderfully inventive at turning analysis into procrastination. So I'd build in a rule. Diamond Eye decision rule. Every investigation must either produce a smaller executable step, change the route, or confirm the existing route and require action. No fourth option. That keeps the navigation grounded in reality. I think this is actually one of the strongest ideas you've had recently because it shifts the system from being a route generator to a route and resistance navigator. The route answers, where should I go? The resistance engine answers, why am I not going? For a lot of people, especially those who already know what they should do, the second question is the one that changes their life.